What's up, world? What's up, world? How y'all doing? What's going on? What's goody? What's goody? What's goody? We back again for another episode of They Fired Us. The Blue Light Lounge presents WTF Radio. I am your co-host, Day, also known as Just Yearn to succeed and follow your dreams. And I'm here with my other co-host. I'll let him introduce himself.
Desmond Bonet. Just Desmond Bonet for right now, man.
Oh, no, Desmond Bonet. I'm not French. No.
Yeah, that was the old thing, man.
What happened?
They fired us.
My condolences. My condolences. All right, world. Right, world. How y'all doing? What's up? What's up? What's up? Don't be afraid to let us know how y'all doing. Like, comment, subscribe. Also, before we start, we want to just say that we are having a giveaway.
Yes,
We are
sir.
having a giveaway for when we reach 200 followers or subscribers, whichever one comes first on our social medias. So YouTube, if we get 200 subscribers, we're going to do a giveaway, and 200 followers on our Instagram. The Instagram is They Fired Us. Just type it in exactly and you'll find us. No underscore crap, no they underscore fired underscore us. Nah. We don't do none of that. We just straight to the point. All right. So people who've been watching us, they know that we've been preaching and talking about Black Lives Matter, and we still are fighting. We want to, first and foremost, before we dissect into our main topic, which is 10 reasons why you might get fired from a job. We just want to say that we still are fighting and protesting. We still using our voice, to speak upon the things that matter. And we just want to thank everybody, thank the protesters, thank people who are using their platform, whether their platform is big and small, to talk about these things that really need to be talked about. It's just sad that these things are happening, and they keep on happening, bro. Like every day something pops up. But today we just want to dissect for a minute and just talk about 10 reasons why someone might get fired from a job, a 9 to 5, et cetera, et cetera. Now, we're pretty sure that some of you have been fired from a job before, or you might know of somebody who got fired from a job before, whether it's a close friend, a significant other, a family member, et cetera, especially during this pandemic. So because of this, we just want to give some reasons why one might get fired. Yeah.
So the first reason, which is one of the reasons that I think just everybody in any kind of job can relate to, not meeting the company's standards. Now, what I mean by that is, I'm gonna use myself and Lade for example. We did security for the previous company we worked for. I've had a certain level of experience as far as years, as well as Lade. So we came in with, I guess you could say we came in knowing the job. It's not that hard to figure out. Knowing the job and just applied our knowledge on what we was doing. As well as someone might do their job to the T, one of the things that's difficult to even accept is a lot of companies have just their own way of doing things, even if it's not the 100% correct way to do that specific job, but because the way a company might operate, and every company has their own policies and whatever have you. So that's what I mean by that. Just even if you know the job very well, the frustrating part is still might not be up to the company's standards because the company just might have their own way of doing that job.
Yeah. It's almost like, I guess, for people to see it as one way. In a perfect example, like a company has their set of rules that they go by, and sometimes the rules might not be clear, and what are written in stone, is definitely to some companies subject to change, which it shouldn't be. If if you're following a core structure, then it should follow through whether I'm there or not. It should be the same, and it should be the same for like a decade, like Nike, for an example. Their slogan is "Just do it." I'm pretty sure underneath um the slogan and their motto, they have different core values that they uphold themselves to, and that they have to live by. It's the same reason, and when you try to do the right thing, like Spike Lee said, you try to do the right thing, that might go against, you know, the company's standards if they have standards, and you might get clipped for that. So yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one, bro.
Well, I appreciate that. Number two.
Oh man.
Number two, attitude, whether nonchalant or aggressive. Um,
Who's taking this one?
Matter of fact, I'll let you start with this one. I'll let you start with this one.
Let's start with this one. Attitude. Can't even talk right now. Attitude, right? I was trying to be nonchalant and not aggressive, so you see where that, you see where it happened. But yeah, attitude. It's just like it's so weird to me because I I I definitely do not understand how a person can be fired for their attitude. You know, being disrespectful, is one thing. Being loud and obnoxious is another thing. But just your attitude, like your attitude is kind of like pretty much like your personality. It's kind of almost like your what we'll call nowadays days is your swag. You know what I'm saying? So how can you how can you really get fired for your attitude? Because your attitude is part of your personality. Some people are quiet, so they have a quiet side to them. Other people have a more I want to call loud, but um like a boastful energy to them. They're like vivacious. They get excited and stuff like that. So that's a part of their energy. I guess when companies are talking about attitude, I guess they're talking about like disrespect. I'm trying to put myself in the owners or a manager's shoes and see where they're coming up with attitude. Or because I'm looking at either being not non nonchalant versus being aggressive. You know, and I'm gonna let you take this because I know you got some words to say for this, but just to put like that nonchalant versus aggressive, because it kind of goes back to number one, because sometimes the company standards will have standards in place for you to be aggressive, you know, de- depending on which job you work at, especially now with the pandemic. If you work with you work in a hospital, you work doing EMS, you look fine, bro. You look fine, bro. Chill, man. Chill, man. My guy, man. That's a little nonchalant attitude we're talking about right now, I guess. It's like, and
Man.
that's me being aggressive right here, I guess.
Paying attention.
Are you following the policy? or we have to fire ourselves.
The policy, you're right on point with the policy.
Yeah,
Since you wanna since you're trying to think from from the perspective of the owner manager, right? So I just wanna hit you with this just so I could kind of see if the audience could kind of get the confusion, right? This is one of the reasons why I personally put down the attitude.
right.
I've been told both things from multiple jobs. Attitude is too aggressive, and on other occasions, attitude is too nonchalant. So when you're trying to accommodate the company's policy,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to customer service, meaning you're dealing with people back to back. You're constantly, well, in our job, you're constantly in someone's face, right? So as security, when you're told you're here to make sure that people know security is here, you're here to make sure that presence is felt. This is what I was personally told from multiple different jobs, right? This is where the confusion comes in with the attitude thing. As security, they came up to me and said, that's what you're here for, to, that feel. So we just need, that security. All right, cool. It's security. I'm used to it. So then you start doing that. That's when the nonchalant attitude, I guess, kind of takes over. There's barely any facial expressions, if not a mean one.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of just move accordingly. You're not there to be buddy buddy. You're not there to be super friendly. You're there to make sure your presence as security is felt so no one can try to do anything they're not supposed to. So when
Right.
you're doing that and you feel like you're fulfilling that, and then and within the same breath, and not even a full week later, you're being told by the same exact people to smile more and talk more. So then you do that as security. The confusion gets created because, going back to what I first said, you're there to make sure a presence is felt, right? As security. That's what you tell me you want. But then for whatever reason, you tell me I need to smile more, talk more, or whatever. So I do that, not knowing that that creates a huge confusion, just not only me doing the job, but the people that I'm supposed to approach for any wrongdoing.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Because if,
know,
if if I'm making sense, it creates a I don't really know the technical term on it, but I'm gonna just say it creates a line of fakery. We're gonna create some shit right now. A
just say
line of fakery
just
because
say like a line of confusion.
I
Because
have to be aggressive but not aggressive within my approach. How confusion is that to one person? Like, bro, you was just cool and now you.
yeah. I wouldn't. For me personally, I wouldn't call it fakery. I would just call it like confusion because you're telling me one thing here, and then on the next you're telling me this here. And excuse me, I think that a lot of people who work retail or have worked retail before, you know, definitely know what we're talking about. I've worked. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, I've done retail for like 12 plus years. Whether it's working in restaurants, whether it's working in, fashion companies, whether it's working I worked at Trader Joe's. So it's like there is that fine line where it's just like, all right, am I, am I crossing this line? You know, Let me know, or am I not crossing the line? And we're seeing these same things. I know we said that we don't want to talk about, Black Lives Matter right now. However, the same thing is happening right now with the cops, because they're supposed to protect and serve, right?
Mhm.
That's what they went in the job for. They have that fine, that they have that line. And what we're seeing now is them crossing the line. They're being too aggressive when they're just supposed to serve. You know, so um, I think that's what a lot of people can relate to. People who work in retail or any place that has a lot of high stress. If you work at a job that has a lot of high stress, like I said before, like the EMT, nurses, medical assistants, doctors. If you, hey, let's stop right now. If you work in a job that has a high stress level, comment below. Comment below and let us know. Let us know. Let us know. If you work at a high stress level job and you can relate to what we're saying right now, comment below. Comment below. You don't have to tell us like where you work and et cetera,
Mhm.
et cetera. But just yeah, I have or I do or yeah, so we know that you can relate to this.
And also, if you have a full story, but like Lade said, don't really want to mention certain things, just email dayfightersny@gmail.com, and we'll keep you anonymous, but we'll mention the place of work if you want us to. But if you got a story, don't be afraid to do that too, man. We want to hear everything.
Yeah, we definitely. So number 3 is being unmotivated, and 4 is being comfortable, and they both kind of go hand in hand, and that's why some people might get fired from a job. Being unmotivated, it kind of just shows. It kind of goes for number 2 in a sense. It kind of just shows in your attitude. you
Hmm.
know, when you get to work, managers look at that. Managers look to see if you're in a great mood, if you have high energy. They look at your personality. If if you're a quiet person and they see that you can, work the job, and you're good around pressure and stuff like that, they're gonna see that, in you, and say, oh, that's it, that's that person's attitude. But if you have high energy when you first started working there, and then by the second, third month, you're unmotivated, you're just walking around, you're doing a lot of talking, you're on your phone all the time.
I think when it starts off like that, the way you just described, when it gets to that point of being unmotivated or comfortable, I think that's kind of like a unspoken decision on both sides. Like, in my personal opinion, it's like from the owner, manager, or whoever perspective, is like, all right, I can obviously tell that nothing is getting you going here anymore. And from the worker's perspective, is like, sometimes it does get comfortable, and you do get to a point at a job where you're like, it's the same thing every day, nothing is challenging. Like, it's like you want to quit because of life, you don't really say the words, but that's kind of like a unspoken decision of, yeah, it's time for me to get out of here.
Yeah. So being unmotivated is one reason why you can get fired from a job, and comfortability, you know, like Desmond said, like you wake up like it's the routine. Like you wake up in the morning, you know that you're gonna go to the store early, get your bacon, egg, and cheese. You know that you're gonna eat it before work.
Especially if it's a job that doesn't really have especially a job that doesn't have any growth when it comes to positions. There's a lot of jobs that there's people that done work the same position for about 10 years and there's no elevation from it at all. So especially with jobs like that, it's super easy to get comfortable and unmotivated because after a while you feel like you're only working for the money and nothing else.
Yeah. So that's another reason why you might get fired. Because a lot of companies they do what's it called, they do like examinations, and um the business term with that would be called
Evaluations?
huh
Evaluation?
evalu- yeah, well, evaluations, but it's under organizational structure.
Got
So
you.
when a company is structuring and they're trying um to grow within, in a sense, and you know they bring new managers in, they kind of change up, the protocol and stuff like that. Then everybody feels, the shift, in a sense, and that's how things change, because when a company is trying to get comfortable and they're trying to move forward, if they don't see you as a fit for them to be comfortable, you're going to get let go of that as well. So that's another reason why we put comfortable here, and an employee can get fired, you know, from a job because the company is trying to get comfortable in a sense and move upwards, meaning making more revenue, making their numbers, closing in on profit margins from one quarter to another quarter if they're doing quarterly or they're doing yearly, depending on the company structure.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another reason why you might get fired from a job. I hope we explaining this so you guys can understand. If you guys are confused or anything, hit up the comments. Hit up the comments. We're vocal. We're two kings who practice communication and live by that. We'll
Yes, sir.
definitely jump in the comment section and go back and forth.
Now, this next reason why one may get fired, I personally, I personally,
Shots fired.
I personally believe there's, I want to say, more than 50% of working people who can relate to this, no matter the profession or it doesn't have to be, a 9 to 5, but someone else wanted the job more. Now, my explanation for that is jealousy plays a big part. There's people who, from my hood people, we gonna use something different to describe this. So when you're outside, right? I see the look in your face. When when you enter a new neighborhood, there's certain people who will do whatever possible, no matter how grimy the act is, no matter whatever it is, to get whoever the top person is off of their throne, so to speak, so you can become that new whatever. So many times in working environment, and it really, I want a lot of people to understand this. It really does not matter the profession. It happens in McDonald's as well as I'm sure it happens in million dollar law firms or whatever type of business. There's always someone who either is mad at how hard you work and want to do whatever to just whatever just to you know and like I said, it happens everywhere. And there's a lot that I'm not saying because I'm gonna pass it over to my co-host who might be able to relate a little more, but that's something that happens in every work environment. I've been seeing it in construction work environments, security, corporate environments. I've been around certain music spaces where people will purposely talk in a negative space about someone just to deflect opportunities that they might be able to get. Like
It's funny that you just said that because the first thing that came to my mind is, and you see this a lot in movies, you see it a lot in TV shows, you even see it in like the lawyer kind of realm. That's the first thing that kind of popped in my mind when you said corporate. When like a lawyer has a case, and then they're working on a case, or you even see it with cops. You even see it in like Law and Order or something like that, when like the general, the boss, gives one person a case that they have to go and solve. They have to go and fight, but then the other person wanted the case. So that's like the jealousy, and they're mad because they didn't get that case. So you see it everywhere. Like you even see it when, even in retail, when somebody gets a position, the first thing is like, oh, they became a manager. Like, how did they become a manager? Like, it's this, and it just happens subconsciously. You don't even know that you're doing it purposefully. Like, I remember, and this is my homeboy, and I wasn't even jealous, but it just to align about the subconsciously just happens because we're working at Trader Joe's, and me and my boy, we got hired the same time, right? And We were working, whatever. I kid you not, 2 months later, he was a manager. And I was just like, wait, what? Like, how'd that happen so fast? Like 2 months? Like, how'd that happen so fast? So it just happens subconsciously, you know, all across the board. You know, whether we notice that we're doing it or whether we notice that we're not doing it.
Number six, tardiness. Now, this is one that it's crazy that I'm really about to say this too.
Uh
This is
oh.
one that I can't relate to. I've never had an issue with late anything at any job. And I've been working legally since 14.
All right.
And I've never had a problem with being late, man.
Yeah. Um, I'll be bold. I've had issues with being late before, and that was because of number three. Yeah, being unmotivated. Yeah, yeah. I was unmotivated, and my attitude too. Yes, yes. My attitude was I didn't care anymore. So that's why, But I mean, I say that because, and this is just a catch 22, because you know jobs see you as irreplaceable, like here today, gone tomorrow, on some Drake shit. But yeah, but companies should not operate like that. They should have incentives for people to be excited to come back to their job.
That's the word I was looking for earlier, incentive. A lot of jobs do not have really an incentive, so it makes it easier. Like, just think about how, like, if you look up certain jobs, just go through the numbers of how many times they let in a big group go, or just how that whole rotation is as far as new employees.
Yeah, the turnover rate. Yeah, if your turnover rate is high, then you have to look at why these things, because it does cost, to hire more people. So if your turnover rate is high, if your turnover rate is like more than 60%, then it's like okay, but yeah. Um, number 7, sexual harassment. Now, thank God we never been fired for sexual harassment. Um, we just did an episode
That's what
that
I'm.
you wanna you wanna pick the ball up, man.
um, we got a two-part episode that kind of talks about everything. If you're watching this episode, I would assume you watched the previous. So I would say we had a very important discussion, a very important reveal. This just a very important I want to say just a very important show all across the board because of the bravery that I would guess, I hope I'm using the right word. The bravery it took, the strength that it took for her to just open up and go deep into that. So what I was gonna say is go back to that episode and watch that, and from coming from me you'll kind of see how we feel about number
Or
seven.
sexual harassment. I mean, I
What
don't think. Oh, go ahead. My fault.
what I will say here is both parts have to take accountability when it comes to sexual harassment. And I mean the employees and business, the actual business owners. And I wanna elaborate heavily on that. Not the ones who you put in position to handle the day to day. Not the ones who you put in positions to not HR. HR is set to handle specific matters, managers, whatever. I'm not talking about the people that are put in certain positions because it still falls down from something. If there's any business owner, someone who owns the business and knows the ins and out of their business as far as the day-to-day activities, it's up to you to know exactly who's operating in your business. A lot of the time, people with companies only worry about the money. I get it. You probably got a million things on your plate. But at the end of the day, this is something that's not only feeding you, I would assume it's feeding your family and maybe even more.
Yeah,
So
facts.
why is that not incentive enough to know exactly what's going on in your company as far as who's being hired? Proper this is something that I talked about implementing before with a previous company, not the company that me and you work together. Background checks to me are like okay, but it's for the typical things, you know, basically anything that's on public record. People
Yeah,
do not get caught for everything that they do. So background check for me personally, it works, but it's not really, to me, it defeats the purpose. I think anyone who works any job, instead of just that whole 90-day probation period to get benefits,
mhm,
it should also, I can't speak on it now as far as how, because you know, you still have to know how, but there should be something implemented to figure out other things, whether it's chemistry tests, personality tests, anything like that.
yeah,
Something has to be figured out when it comes to that, because a lot of the times there's a lot of people who put on this act, but the minute they alone with somebody, you find out that they really some, excuse my language, some sick pedophile, rapey, whatever type of motherfucker.
yeah. And the reason why I think Desmond is mentioning this right now is because I don't think a lot of employees are fired for this reason, for number seven, sexual harassment. And harassment can be a bunch of things. You know, it can go from anything like something you said that was like definitely inappropriate. It doesn't belong to be said at the workplace. It could be, you know, the littlest things like you're hugging somebody for too long. You know what I'm saying? Or when you hugging somebody, your hand is like lower than it's supposed to be, or something like that. All of these can come up as sexual harassment, and we had a whole two-part episode about this. You know what I'm saying? And the everyday person is smart enough to know what this is. It's no acting dumb, you know, or dumbing it down, you know, for you to figure out what the fuck such sexual harassment is. You know, it's black and white. You know what I'm saying? And this is something that needs to be addressed because this is happening with a lot of companies. This is happening complex, Vogue, um, Whole Foods, um, Amazon, like major Nike. This happens. This happens all across the board. You know what I'm saying? And as more people start getting comfortable, they start speaking up because they want their story to be told because they're trying to find some closure so they can heal. You know, so we have to do a better job at this. We have to do a better job at this. Maybe we'll bring this up on another episode, you know, but this has to be taken part better. And that's why somebody might get fired because you made somebody feel uncomfortable, whether you know don't know it or not. You know, maybe you're just a flirtatious person and you need to dumb that down.
Mhm.
Me as a person, I can come off flirtatious at times, but I know the limit. I definitely know my limit. No, I'm not going to hug somebody and, like even at work, you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't even hugging people, man. Like once a blue moon, I was everybody knows handshakes, that's it. And keep it moving because I don't want that attached to my name. You know what I'm saying? And the way things are happening, things will come up 10 years later and then boom, Bill Cosby. Now what? Your whole business gone. Everything that you worked for is good. You have kids, you have a wife, their life is in jeopardy because of the decision that you made. You know, it's not smart, bro. It's not smart, sis. It's not smart, man. It's not smart. I remember working at a Dwayne Reed, right? And my aunt had got me the job. I really needed a job. right? Worst job I ever worked at. Worst job, right? I told my aunt, I said, yo, this guy is crazy, yo. This is something wrong with this guy. My aunt like, oh no, da 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 da. I said, all right, cool, right? A few months later, I quit. I got I got sick and tired. My attitude was there, um, unmotivated. I was uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable. Um, Surprisingly, I was never late to that job, so they couldn't fire me off of that. But yeah, I did the overnight there too. I did the overnight, so I was stocking shelves and everything like that. Yo, so long story short, few a few years later, right? My aunt tells me, I don't even know. My aunt tells me she sees it on the news. He gets fired and arrested. Why? Sexual harassment. And I was like, what did I say? I said, I told you so. I said, I told you so. I knew this man was crazy, bro. I knew it. I just felt that energy and it felt weird, bro. He was on the news, bro. Cat got arrested for sexual harassment. This was years ago, bro. Like,
I don't call me pussy for this. This is the only thing I will accept being a pussy for. I'm not that bold. And I always say this when we have, our private conversations. I don't know how motherfuckers could just be that bold, man.
bro, cause they not 100%. They not 100%, bro.
Once the word no is there, and I'm talking about not the playful no and certain things that may happen. When it's a no there,
It's a no,
no,
bro. It's a no, bro.
what the fuck is in you that just like, nah. Like,
Yeah. Like, men who are listening to this, I just want to correct y'all, right? All right. When a girl tell you no, she don't mean the opposite when it comes to this shit. Point my English. When she tell you no, when it comes to sexual harassment, she she not she not telling you yes. You know, yeah, we know that girls do the opposite. Yes we know that. Us
always
as men,
confirm.
yes, bro.
Always
Yes.
confirm. Ain't
Yes.
fucking questions, man. Confirm. That's a real thing.
Bro.
That's a real thing, bro. And it's like,
Bro.
look, man, it's a lot of people out here that really, really think they don't have nothing to do with each other, but it really does. Your love for women, it's a lot of people's love for women that I'm questioning. And I don't
Yeah.
mean the I love girls, pussy all day, blah blah blah. No,
Nah.
your fucking love for women. For you gotta come on. If you got a mother, you got a sister. We done went through this a million times. You got a mother, sister, cousin, whoever.
Got a grandma.
You would put your hands on someone for doing these things to them. And why the fuck would you do it if that's some way for you to think? That's
If
why
the,
I can't wrap my brain around it. I can't. That's the only thing I will accept someone calling me pussy for. Call me pussy for it. Because after no, what you want me to do?
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, we said a lot about the sexual harassment, and you can see how it's there to us because we love women. Like, we generally have a love for women. We love our mothers, we love our aunts, we love our grandmother, you know, whether they're here or gone, like, we generally love them, like I generally have, and I told you on the previous episodes that I would go crazy if I found out something happened to a woman that I told I love you. Like, I would go crazy. You know what I'm saying? But it's heating up. Let's say this for another episode, and go to number 8. Now, this is a major one. This is a major one. You know what I'm saying? Because like it kind of goes against your First Amendment, like freedom of speech, but also you have to be careful. You have to be careful. Number 8 is posting on social media, but it's against company's policy.
This is all right. I'll start off just because what I'm gonna say is shorter. I've never, once again, I've never dealt with that with anything, but I do know someone, and to be real with you, I sided when I was told of the situation. They asked my opinion. I sided with the company. Now here's why, and after you hear it, it's gonna be for obvious reasons. When you go to a job and you obviously know the certain steps you have to take, right? So let's
Yeah,
say those major steps is drug test, right? So if you pass the drug test, the assumption on the company side is, all right, that's a clean dude,
yeah,
whatever. If that company just happens to, for whatever reason, scroll through IG and find your page, but there's posts back to back of you chilling on the block and you smoking and anything like that, yeah, that's your freedom to express whatever it is you want to express on your social media platforms. But you're exhibiting one of the main things that played a factor into you working with this company, which was you passing a drug test. But if you're seeing doing the opposite, then from a company perspective, which is why I sided with the company, is like I'm gonna feel like I just got played. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And my thing with that is that you can speak your mind, but
you don't gotta show everything you do, man.
yeah, just limit it, man. Like just limit. You don't have to publicize everything you do on social media. You know what I'm saying? Like people think that Desmond and I, like we speak a lot. Like people don't even know half our life story. You know what I'm saying? Like people think they might, but they have no idea. Like none.
We're the most open but really closed people. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Because people would call me and ask me stuff, and I'd be like, nah, sorry. Maybe like I'm like, I took a left. Sorry. And my condolences. Like stupid 48 laws of power, my G. Like, yeah, like and so, why would you want all your business out there though? That's my thing. Like, why would you want all your business out there? Who's this? There was a post about this dude got a. I know it has nothing to do with work work related, but it's the same. It's the same premise. It was a scammer. It was a Nigerian scammer
oh,
who got caught, and he had like $48 million or some crazy amount. Don't get me talking
half
about the
a
money amount,
billion, bro. $500 million.
bro. But he was showing off on social media, bro. Like I have that much money, I'm getting an island and chilling, yo.
Nobody's gonna see. Nobody sees anything now. Like,
Yeah.
I don't post shit on Instagram. Like, no.
I'm laughing because it's literally zero.
Yo,
Yo,
I had
yo,
that.
that was a good one.
People will really never see me.
You know what I'm saying? And it's funny too when people ask for my Instagram, they looking to see my face, and you have to scroll because like you know what I'm saying? Like it's just my personality. It's just me who I am. But to be posting all your thing, man, that's another thing that we've always talked about. People posting on social media just for the attention
Mm-hmm.
and not actually being that person in real life. You know what I'm
Listen,
saying?
we see it like all the time. Yo. People will run faster to social media to tear somebody down than they would to actually beat them in pit. Like in
Yeah, facts. You see what happening right now, especially with this race war. You see how people are quick to call somebody out, quick to whatever. When you right there face to face with the person, oh hey, oh how you doing? Nah, calm, chill.
it's crazy, man.
Yeah, it is. Um, Number 9,
You
boom, we
continue.
gonna go to. What happened? My fault.
No, yeah, you good.
Nah, what happened?
Now, I was gonna say that's why we want to continue to hear our opinions and hear our thoughts and hear us express ourselves properly. Instagram is not the place. Come here today, fired us. We here for you.
Bang, bang.
But if you do want to see some dope shit, some real dope shit that you're gonna see probably in some future episodes, man. Follow this guy here. I won't say nothing else, but when you go to his page, you'll see, man. What's the next one?
I don't know what he's talking about. Um, Number 9, we got stealing. All right, so I'm just going to Michael Phelps this and dive in because our job, our previous job was security, and I've attested to um, working at different retails, right?
Mhm.
So I know about stealing, but as far as doing security at a retail job, like stealing is a big no-no. That's in a policy. You know what I'm saying? And that's one reason why you might get fired. I don't know if it happens to be like a habit or like an addiction, or you get a natural high of getting away with something that, never getting caught kind of thing, or kind of spill, whatever your fancy is, but this a no-go because it go on your record, and then after that, how you gonna get a job? Like you're gonna have to start scamming or start a business or something, you know, after that, which I don't recommend, but I mean, if that's your life, then that's your life. But stealing is a big no-no. Us as security, we have caught countless amount of people stealing. Um, I be bold enough to say that we even know certain employees and managers who were stealing at the time, you know. But that's for another podcast episode. But stealing is a big no no. And my question to you is, what do you get from it? Like what do you get from stealing? Like how does that I can't even finish the sentence. Like it's still stuck on a comma. Like how do you live? I can't even ask the question of like how do you go to sleep with it, because you see what the world we living in right now. So I can't even say that. But like I don't know, man. I don't know. Stealing is a big one for me because
This
that's
is
something that like it ain't like you like a little kid and you go into the corner store, you steal a bag of chips or something like that. This is like you going to the store and you stealing like sneakers, or you stealing clothes. You stealing iPhones and MacBooks. You know, and crazy,
iPhones and MacBooks.
bro. I ain't
Sheesh.
saying nothing on that one. I ain't saying nothing on that one. What's the one? Number 8, posting also. Yeah, I ain't saying nothing. I ain't going.
Drug or
Alcohol possession. That's another reason why somebody.
all
Let
right,
me.
hold on. You gonna start? You gonna start?
Nah, I started the last one. You start this one also.
All right, hold on. I'm not not gonna say no names. Not gonna say no names. I'm gonna broaden it. This is what I will say.
Uh-huh.
Every company wants to have their professional standards, their professional policies, right?
Yeah.
Now we understand a lot of person. Now we understand a lot of personal meaning. Your outside life is not supposed to always interact with your professional life, right? This is what I'm gonna say. I've worked in companies who have those policies with drugs and alcohol, as every company should or whatever. But when you got your boss, someone who signs your check or who's a part of signing your check or just whatever, walk in after their break or whatever, smelling like, looking like, if it, what's that saying? If it quacks like a duck, look like a duck, it's really a duck. So it goes back to that leading by example. That's the point I wanted to make. When it comes to that specific drug or alcohol possession, I feel like, which I can honestly say most companies do, as far as just nobody, like I said, your personal, that stays your personal. Don't put that in the job all the times. But there's a lot of companies, mostly a lot who have quote unquote family settings or it's just a small business, have those, but then still try to just implement that real hard on the employees. But once again, leading by example, if you just walked in after lunch break smelling crazy, like marijuana and you're high as a kite, but then fire me or fire whatever employee for doing that.
Yeah, my take on it is that companies should implement drug and alcohol tests. I mean drug tests. You can't really alcohol. Um,
Alcohol needs to though. That's for another episode, but
yeah, drug tests. Companies should do drug tests. I know when I worked at like Express or when I worked at like Victoria's Secret, um, there was no drug test. And I know that large retailers probably don't do that because the turnover rate is too fast. But however, I believe that if they implemented that, that would cancel certain people from even filling out the application. You know, and there have to be repercussions for these people who are doing this. You know, um, and a question to me, to anybody who's listening to this who has been fired for drugs or alcohol possession, is like, that goes on your record too. So how you going to get another job because of that? You know what I'm saying? And not to hurt anybody's feelings or anything like this, but do you have a drug addiction? Do you have an alcohol problem? Is this something that you need to go to counseling or to go to therapy for? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying this at nobody, so nobody get offended. This is just a general, and anybody who knows me know that if this was towards somebody, I will just say your name. But anyhow, my point that I'm trying to emphasize here is that if this is an ongoing problem for you, if you have been at one job and got fired for this and have been to another job who knows of this and they still hired you and you got fired because of this, then you know it's a problem and you need to seek some kind of counseling or help, for this matter. Um, I'm, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna. I think I said what I needed to say on that one, right there, right there. Oh no, I didn't. And companies, I need to do a better job of checking on people who do drugs and do alcohol on the job on a consistent basis because it still affects your bottom line. And I'm gonna just leave it like that. I said I wasn't taking no shots.
you didn't.
We just did the pshom, pshom, pshom.
This guy did. No, I feel like you touched everything on that. The only thing, the only thing I'll repeat is what I said in the beginning is basically, long story short, companies need to actually practice their policies and their standards if they expect employees to follow the same thing.
Yeah, and what we try to do with this 10 reasons, we try to not only give reasons why we believe an employee might get fired, but we also try to put our shoes into a manager, a owner, a higher up, rather, and say why you might get fired from the job. We try to look at both sides of the scale in a sense, or both sides of the field, rather.
I'm glad you said that because I want to go on record for saying this publicly. So whoever's watching, I got fired from the previous job we worked from. I think we spoke about it on the last podcast, but not really here. I'm not gonna go into detail. I just want to say this publicly because I said it a million times in private. If I'm not upset at being fired. I'm not upset at the previous company. I have no ill will towards anybody there, anything like that. I was never mad personally, me at being, for getting fired. I was only upset with how I got fired. I felt like I've worked up enough respect there to have the respect to be told something face to face instead of an email, especially when I kind of felt what was happening and made sure I asked. I was always told a lie. But that part's neither here nor there. Me personally, if me getting terminated from that job came down to my last moment, and this is me being honest, and I feel like a lot of people need to be super honest with their situation with jobs. Because I really had to take a step back and think about the whole scope of the position and what I've done. When I accumulated everything that I've done with that company, and this man was a witness to most of it, I would have not let me go. But if we boil it down to my last few moments there, I had a situation with a customer. I wasn't having a good day. I can honestly say that I was not having a good day at all. Did not want to be there that day. And this customer also was on level whatever. And my level just went higher, and I was just no fucks given. It was just a bad moment. So that's the reason why I was never mad. If it comes down to just my last moment, I would have fired me as well. I have no problem with being honest. I would have fired my ass for that last moment if it's based on that. And I
Yeah,
want to do that publicly so people can understand that everything we doing here is not out of anger or some kind of underlying thing. We went through situations, we've learned from it, we sat in it, we soaked in it, we were depressed in it, angry in it, and we were able to come out of it, create something that's here to help so many other people who might be going through, similar situations. And we're here to just help you figure out how to navigate through that. But for me personally, in order to kind of accept that and really, really grow and move where you're supposed to move, then kind of bring yourself down to a humble level and really look at it and start to, be truthful with yourself. I personally would have fired me, but I know it's different for Lade, and it might be different for a lot of people. But first is just accepting. Accept that you were fired. If the reason is something you disagree with, then if you know me, stand on that. But if you can come down and you start to see, like, you know what, I would have let myself go for that too. Also stand on that and grow and, implement that into everything that's going on.
yeah, facts. I don't even know if y'all want me to dive in on some Michael Phelps like before. Um, I didn't deserve to get fired. I'll tell you that. I could stand on that. I can die happily today and say that I didn't deserve that. I can definitely hug God going to heaven because I know I'm going to heaven, and we could look down and just laugh at the moment. Like I didn't deserve to get fired. Um, when I was at Nordstrom, I deserved to get fired. I'll say that. I'll say that. I went Kanye. Like I went Kanye. Me and the manager got into it. I was doing stock there, and like I was throwing sneakers, and I just went ham. Like I literally, what happened?
You talking about George Bush don't like black people, Kanye?
Um, Kanye taking a mic from Taylor Swift and saying Beyonce had one of the
Okay.
yeah that Kanye yeah. But long story short is that like what Desmond said, you have to be real with yourself. You have to hold the mirror in front of your face and say, yes, this I deserve to get fired for. Like if you stole from a company you know that you're supposed to be fired. If you sexual harass somebody, you're supposed to be arrested and fired from the job. If you're doing drugs, you know, yes, those are reasons to get fired from a job. But if you believe in your heart and heart that they fired you wrongfully, you know, you have to be comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? You have to look in yourself and say, it's okay. I honestly know I did nothing wrong, and just move forward, yo, and just move forward, because you don't want to you don't want to linger on to that. You know, you don't want to linger on to that hatred, that bitterness, that that negative energy right there. You know, that's gonna hinder you from moving on to finding another job that you like, from finding anything you like. And I'm gonna keep it a buck. Everybody who gets fired from a job, for those who know in their heart of hearts 100% that they did nothing wrong and they would just let go, they feel a certain way. They they feel a certain way, because you never know somebody's situation. You never know what they're doing to make money. You never know what that paycheck or what that thing could have did to help that person, just to relieve some kind of stress. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what kind of bills they paying, yada yada yada. So companies, I know larger companies, y'all don't care, but just like y'all want us to put ourselves in y'all shoes, take some time to put yourselves in our shoes. You know, like take a moment, you know, and put yourself in our shoes, especially the good workers, especially the people who actually enjoy the job, especially the people who wake up excited to go to the job, not only to, you know, socialize with their friends, but just to escape their own world and their reality. I've said this at several jobs. Sometimes you're working at a job longer than you are staying at home, but there's some times where your home doesn't feel like a home. You have so much turmoil in your home that you go to work to de-stress.
A lot of companies, and I could be wrong, but this is how I perceive it. This is how it kind of comes off. A lot of companies, if you're a business owner, of course you live a different life. But that doesn't mean that you're the only one that has stress because of the workload that's on your table or because of the amount of things you're doing. These employees that you have also have a lot of things. Look at the demographic that you're hiring. Like it's not it's not 100% suburban silver spoon kids. It's inner city minorities that you got busting their ass for whatever company they're working for, and they're not allowed that same, I guess, leniency of just kind of an understanding. And I know some people's gonna look at this and say, well, you're not paid for us to understand, or we don't pay you for blah blah blah. Listen, motherfucker, be a fucking human being at the end of the day. People go through real things. Excuse my
Yes,
language, excuse my
facts.
people go through real things. The same way you have however many pay books you have to go through. This person might not have that exact thing, but this person might have a real life home situation that's it's gonna affect your. I know I said earlier you should not let personal involve with professional, but I also said that sometimes professional just does. I mean, personal does kind of creep in, whether we want it to or not.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
contributed, what contributed to me kind of not having a good day or a good week in my final moments at my previous job was a lot. It had to do with personal stress that was going on. It had to do with me still being upset that somebody who I felt like was like a teammate was gone. So I was left to do certain things by myself. And it was just a whole lot altogether. And that can affect the job because
yeah,
really someone in a high place, like everyone companies need to just start looking at the employees a different way. I think if they really truly start dealing with employees in a different manner, you would have listen, the money that you will make when you have happy employees in a happy environment is gonna skyrocket because
yeah,
everyone
facts.
feel important. They're gonna feel like they're gonna feel like they're not just there just to do this one thing for this one person. They're gonna feel like they actually have incentives. They're gonna be motivated. They're not gonna be super, comfortable.
Yeah, yeah. And it just makes your day easier. You know what I'm saying? Because just like how Desmond says, at the end of the day, we're humans. You know, just like how you come in to work and sometimes you don't feel like being there, you have your own stress, you have your family issues, et cetera, et cetera. It's full circle. It's full circle. We are more alike than we perceive to be. You know, that's why it's called humanity. You know, we are all humans. We JC's no two snowflakes, or he it's a line for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So have that certain consideration, you know, for the next group. You know, have that, mindset, when you're hiring an employee, or you're doing changes to your company's policy, and this is for all companies, man. This is for all companies because listen, the way things are going right now, especially with this whole pandemic and stuff like that, it's gonna make a lot of us think. It's going to make a lot of us think. Even if you have an online business, right, right, you have to treat your customers a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So they can come back. But when you have that, you're gonna have employees too to help you. So you want to treat those employees, excuse me, the right way, you know, so they can perform and they can do a good job for you, whether you're freelancing, whether you're outsourcing, whatever you're doing, because that's what it looks like. The spectrum is changing to
Mm-hmm.
from offline to online. So we, we just need to start thinking a little bit more. Stop being selfish, and be a little bit more open minded to the possibilities all around us. You know, Desmond always says it. Shots fired, but we shouldn't have to fire ourselves. And that's the same thing for the companies. You shouldn't have to fire yourself. And I want to say this, and I say this with the utmost respect to every company that I worked for, right? If what we're saying doesn't have any validity to it, then why are several employees saying the same exact thing as what we are saying? If what we are saying makes no sense and it's just whatever, why is it happening all across the board? So you see that it's a systematic problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm done for my 2 cents.
If I keep going, this episode is gonna be super long, man. I'm proud that we stood on topic somewhat with this. We're gonna get back to our regular in the upcoming episodes, but this is one that we've been trying to just buckle down and get done. So that's the reason why I want to go too crazy and go extra. What I will say to end it off on my part, my side is not meeting the company standards, attitude, being unmotivated, being comfortable, being worried of someone else wanting your position, being late, dealing with sexual harassment, dealing with not being able to post what you want on social media. I'm only going to speak on 1 through 8 right now. If you're someone who's going through all of those, what I would say is look at those reasons as the reason to finally get to whatever it is you want to do. I know what it feels like to wake up every day and go somewhere that you don't want to be And you gotta find motivation in the littlest things. Even if it's one coworker that you're gonna be happy to see, or you know you're gonna have a certain lunch, whatever it is. Like I done been there where you gotta find motivation for the job. And the reason why I personally wasn't upset with being fired is, let me stop saying it. I was mad as fuck when I was fired. Mad as fuck. But after just sitting with it for a while, my anger grew less and less and less. And that's how I realized I wasn't really mad at being fired. That's how I was fired. But it put me in a place to where I had to analyze. And, I worked at a place that had me super stressed out. Every day my back and feet was hurting.
Hmm.
Every day was just a new adventure, whether we wanted it or not.
Yeah.
A whole lot going on. So when you step out of that and then you start figuring out ways to apply that energy into a podcast or whatever it is, then that's when you start realizing, like, you know what? I don't think I can ever go back to a 9 to 5 because whatever reason you come up with. But for me, I don't think I can necessarily go back to a 9 to 5 because not only have I dealt with every reason that we speak of to not really go to a company, but once again, as I repeated 1 through 8, who wants to work anywhere where you got to be consistently conscious of all of those things when you shouldn't really have to?
Facts, facts, facts. I'll pick up number 8 and 9 and 8, 9, and 10. Oh, you did 8 already. I'll pick up 9 and 10. Stealing and drugs or alcohol possession. Stealing, I do not recommend. As said before, if you feel like you have an addiction or you feel like it's becoming impulsive to you, then please, please, please seek somebody else. I know some of y'all listening like, fuck out of here, I'm gonna do whatever I want. But just be mindful that it goes on your record. What goes into dark comes into light. So please be aware from that. And then also know that karma, because once you have a business, you wouldn't want people stealing from you. So
Mm-hmm.
just remember that. Just remember that. You know, drugs or alcohol possession. Um, be mindful of how much you are drinking and taking drugs on the job. I wanna emphasize this. All right. I know people normally do it before, after, or sometimes on their break. Sometimes people had such a stressful day, or to relax themselves, they they do whatever they have to do, but be mindful of the consistency that you are doing it. Make sure that you're not doing it not only to damage yourself, but to damage your job position. You know, I keep it a buck. There's times where, when I was drinking, I went to the bar, and and got a drink or two because I was just stressed. I'm like, yo, like but I never made it a habit. I never ever made it a habit. Where there's times where I drank at the job. Yeah, I'll be blunt. I'll be blunt. There's times where I drank at the job, whether it was like a potluck or like a birthday. We actually did these kind of things. Express, we had a lot of potlucks. Victoria's Secret, we also did as well. So we were able to indulge in those partakings. But there's a line, they have to cross. And majority of the time, after you finish work, you can go to happy hour and drink and just enjoy your day. You know, but you shouldn't be at your job tipsy. You shouldn't be at your job drunk. You shouldn't be at your job like crazy.
If you feel like you need to be under the influence to operate, it's time to go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
In that instance, yes, it's time to fire yourself.
yeah. And let me be honest. Excuse me. If you are that tipsy or high at work, just leave. Just ask to excuse yourself and go home. Just ask to leave early. If your company has a point policy, a lot of them do. A lot of them have systematic rules or policies set up for things like this. And you have to take the points, then just take the points. But save yourself. So that's it. I can really dig in about that, why we believe we got fired, but I mean, I left that to God, and God dealt with that. I'm in a much better place now. And on a positive note, I actually want to thank my previous job for firing me, because I wouldn't have accomplished as much as I have now. And I say this with the utmost respect. I say this with the utmost empathy. I say this with the utmost compassion. And if I had the opportunity to go to the company and thank them, I would. Straight like that, like straight facts. I'm in a much better place right now, and it would have never happened if I didn't get fired.
So everybody out there that thinks whatever you think, you heard from both of us, man.
Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. When Jesus washed, he washed my sins away. Oh, happy day. Remix, remix, remix. Peace, tranquility. Roll up the weed and get high. I said, peace, tranquility. Roll up the weed and get high. I said, peace, tranquility. Roll up the weed and get high. Peace, tranquility. Roll up the weed and get high. What? What? Oh man. Oh man. Ooh.
Yeah, this was episode
4.
I go by the name of Desmond Bonet.
I go by the name of Lade, aka Just Yearn. You have just listened to another episode of They Fired Us, presented by the Blue Light Lounge on WTFU Radio. Thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning in. Also, subscribe to us on Instagram. They Fired Us. They Fired Us. Once again, They Fired Us. You can find me at Take It Easy Tiger NY if interested, and you can find my friend at
Desmond Bonet, that's DesmondBonet. Do not forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please do not forget, as soon as we hit 200 followers and or 200 subscribers, we will be having a giveaway, man. So tell a friend and tell a friend, tell a friend, come subscribe, check us out.
Yes, thank you. And if you also have a question, you have a suggestion, email us at theyfiredusny@gmail. They fired us ny@gmail. To the next episode, please be safe. Please be safe out there.